Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel Luxury Ways. A channel that is all about style and class. We hope that all of you guys have enjoyed our previous video of the top 7 most luxury jets in the world. But before we move on towards our today's video, please like our video and subscribe to our channel Luxury Ways. In today's video, we are going to talk about the top 7 most luxury sports in the world. What is the most luxurious sport in the world? The most expensive sport in the world that very few people can afford this racing sport on their own, and it's usually done with the help of corporate sponsors or patronage. An F1 car can cost upwards of $1 million. Sports is all about having fun and showcasing your talent on an equal platform. The beauty of sport is that everyone can be a part of it, irrespective of religion, gender, or upbringing. Sport is fantastic, and for the most part, getting started or involved in sport can be done for quite a small price. However, there are some sports which cost an arm and a leg to compete in. However, not all sports are born equal. Some sports are reserved for the extremely wealthy, and if you aren't earning millions of dollars every year, it is almost impossible to pursue certain sports. Here is a list of sports that can only be practiced by the very rich. Starting with number 7, ski jumping. Ski jumping is a winter sport in which competitors aim to achieve the farthest jump after sliding down on their skis from a specially designed curved ramp. Along with jump length, competitors' aerial style and other factors also affect the final score. Ski jumping is a sport everyone loves to watch in the Winter Olympics. The sport became very well known even to non-sports fans by the great sports underdog story, Eddie the Eagle. At first glance, ski jumping does not seem to belong on the most expensive sports list. But don't be fooled, it's the most expensive form of skiing you can compete in. Equipment can cost upwards of 3 kelvins, which pales in comparison skeleton or bobsleigh. But access to coaching and to ski jumps for training and travel, as there aren't exactly ski jumping facilities in every town, is what makes this one of the most expensive sports to compete in. And then there's the cost of an insurance policy. As one can imagine, being insured for a sport that requires an individual to fly down an incline at great speeds and jump is not easy or cheap. And this gives ski jumping the number 7 spot on our list of the top 7 most luxury sports in the world. Number 6. Motor racing. To do motor racing you need a kart or car, and these are not cheap. But it's the fixing and maintenance that really adds up. Add on the cost of getting your car to races and fuel, then things really start to add up. Also, the further you rise through the ranks of motor racing, the more expensive the cars get. Speaking of high medical costs, those dreaming to be Formula 1 drivers should expect to have high expenses as injuries are prevalent and are usually more serious than a sprained ankle. Also, there is the small fact that participation requires one to own their own car, which is more expensive, say, than owning your own basketball. Formula 1 is the pinnacle of motor racing, and to reach this level, drivers have to start racing from a young age on go-karts. The costs rise at each level, and corporate sponsors are essential, as entering a Formula 1 race costs about $190,000. There is a reason why the cars and athletes look like walking advertisements for various products. The cost of the cars is astronomical, and the tires usually cost more than the average road vehicle. And this gives motor racing the number 6 spot on our list of the top 7 most luxury sports in the world. Number 5. Polo. Polo is a horseback ball game, a traditional field sport and one of the world's oldest known team sports. The game is played by 2 opposing teams with the objective of scoring using a long-handled wooden mallet to hit a small hard ball through the opposing team's goal. Like equestrian, polo requires the purchase of an elite horse and requires maintenance, training and travel costs. What separates polo is that it requires those who play it to own more than one horse. Most polo players need about 4 horses in order to substitute tired horses. Polo ponies must be exercised regularly, and this usually requires 2 grooms at $2,500 a month. Tournaments can cost anywhere between $3,500 and $150,000. To be a patron and sponsor polo teams in tournaments can cost anywhere between $300,000 and $1 million. One characteristic of polo is there is a high rate of injury, so those prepared to participate should anticipate high medical expenses as well. And this gives polo the number 5 spot on our list of the top 7 most luxury sports in the world. Number 4. Wingsuiting. A new beginner wingsuit will set you back about $1,200. That's like 50 jumps, man. Right now, you need those jumps, because steady, procedural, consistent training is the only thing that's going to allow you to grow in the discipline. Wingsuiting is a sport where you fly through the air with the help of a special jumpsuit called a wingsuit. A wingsuit costs roughly $2,500, and while this isn't cheap, it is by no means an expensive investment compared to the other sports on this list. But the real cost of wingsuit diving involves hiring an airplane to take you up and paying the pilot for their services. You'll also have to invest in skydiving lessons and pay for insurance before you can start diving. Recreational wingsuit diving can cost up to $30,000, 18 lakh rupees, and professional wingsuit diving costs much more. How far can a wingsuit fly? A skydive is usually performed from around 12,000 feet over the landing area, and wingsuiters often deploy their main parachutes 9,000 feet, 3 kilometers below that altitude. At that respectable glide ratio of 2.5, a wingsuit pilot can cover about 7.5 kilometers of distance. And this gives wingsuiting the number 4 spot on our list of the top 7 most luxury sports in the world. Number 3. Sailing. Sailing employs the wind, acting on sails, wing sails or kites, to propel a craft on the surface of the water, on ice or on land over a chosen course, which is often part of a larger plan of navigation. The best part about sailing is that once you've got your own boat, the actual race requires very little investment. The worst part? A boat can cost anywhere between $50 million to $100 million. So you can only enjoy this sport if you've amassed enough wealth to actually buy a boat. Another issue with this sport is that it's seasonal in most countries, and the boat stays docked for the rest of the year. This is where the real money comes in, as the cost of maintaining a boat on deck can be astronomical. And this gives sailing the number 3 spot on our list of the top 7 most luxury sports in the world. Number 2. Formula 1. Formula 1 is the highest class of international racing for open-wheel single-seater formula racing cars sanctioned by the Fédération Internationale de l'Automobile. Why is it called Formula 1? The word formula in the name refers to the set of rules to which all participants' cars must conform. A Formula 1 season consists of a series of races, known as Grand Prix, which take place worldwide on both purpose-built circuits and closed public roads. The shape and construction of an Formula 1 car's fuel tank makes this impossible. This is due to the severe forces an F1 car experiences, which causes the fuel to move around. Engineers need to control this movement, to keep the car's center of gravity low and to ensure a consistent supply of fuel to the engine. To be a Formula 1 racer, you need to have your own car. And considering that a single wheel of a Formula 1 car costs more than a regular civilian car, you'll need a ton of money to be able to get into this sport. Besides, injuries in Formula 1 races are no small matter, and a crash can amount to far more than a sprained ankle. But let's forget about the possible medical costs for a second, and considering that most racers begin practicing on go-karts from a very young age, it is evident that this sport requires a minimum investment of $1 million. And this gives Formula 1 the number 2 spot on our list of the top 7 most luxury sports in the world. Number 1. Equestrian. Equestrian is the sport concerned with the skill of riding, driving, steeplechasing, or vaulting with horses. Riding a horse is an activity that many children dream of doing. Equestrian sports, however, are sports that only the privileged few can participate in. The costs of training and maintaining a horse for the events in equestrian sports can be astronomical and include traveling to events and stabling the animal appropriately. The cost of exhibiting a horse on the international circuit can exceed $200,000 a year. This figure does not even include the cost of purchasing a horse. How is equestrian an Olympic sport? Only 3 Olympic sports have men and women competing against each other: sailing and mixed doubles in badminton. Equestrian is the only sport that combines 2 participants, a horse and a rider. Equestrian events in the Olympics include dressage, eventing, and jumping. Training and maintaining such a large animal can cost a pretty penny, or paisa. Take into account traveling to events and stabling the animal properly, and you'll be spending roughly $200,000, more than 1 crore, every year. And this doesn't include the cost of buying a racehorse. And this gives equestrian the number 1 spot on our list of the top 7 most luxury sports in the world. So, guys, this is our today's video on the top 7 most luxury sports in the world. We hope that all of you guys will enjoy our video and let us know your opinion in the comment box. See you guys in our next video. Goodbye.